Hey everybody, it is November 2nd, I want to say. Yes, it's November 2nd. And I am Sadie, I will be your host. It's been a long week. And I bit the inside of my mouth, and that kind of hurts. But a long week has to have an end, right? So fingers crossed this week, much better, okay? Now, I know I have Petri fur in my mouth, but hopefully better week. So, let's move right on into everything. It's probably not going to be a very long show. I don't have much to report. I kind of trucked along on a few things, and in the meantime, Bebop took up most of my time. He is currently passed out. And I will go into that at the end for all of the people who care, and for those of you who just want knitting, here it comes. I finished the pea blanket, or actually it's more of a pea cozy, because I did what I said I was going to do. I did a 3-needle bind off at the end. I have not woven in the ends. I'm just glad I got it this far. So it is huge. So the one side is open, the other side is a flap, kind of, so she can curl in if she wants to. Everybody has been stealing this blanket. It is finally done. And it can go back on its spot on the couch, and she can be a happy, wappy pea. However, she was not very happy with me for bringing it in here to show off to you. I am currently wearing my vitamin D. It's a hand-spun vitamin D by Heidi Kermeyer. I would stand up and show you, but I don't feel like it. Well, I guess I will. You've seen it before. Go away. Little pop-up. It is hand spun out of 100% Polworth that my husband bought me at a Shepherd's Harvest several years ago now. Briar Rose dyed the fabric. Dyed the fiber. It's about 13 ounces. And then I didn't have that much left over. Petri, what's up? P. Well, come on in. Come on. Everybody's out of sorts. And right now she's really out of sorts because I wouldn't give her cheese. Because of course, I have to give her cheese. My job in life is to give her cheese. And pets. I also apologize for the multiple lighting sources today. I had to do with what I could. Because I'm recording later in the day. Because I had a chiropractor appointment and then Bob had another vet appointment, which makes 3 vet appointments. One of them was the emergency vet, and he stayed overnight. And I'm not gonna lie to you, holy, I hope I don't have to go to the vet again for at least a couple months. Because this is insane. But they get old, and that's what we have to do. Right, P? Right, P? You're up next for going to the vet. She's like, oh, I hate you. You can't see her, but she's right here. There. Because apparently, what the meowing really meant was, hey, Mommy, give me some scritchums. Scritchums, scritchums. Scritchums, scritchums. Until we've had enough. P. Good girl. Yeah? Yeah? Are you gonna let me podcast? I'm just gonna podcast around her. You know, I left. Okay, so each individual room here has a heater. I left the heater on in the bedroom just a little bit so that they would have a nice warm bedroom. Does she care? No. No. I haven't turned the heater on here in this room at all. At all. Like, it just gets residual heat when I open the door. But, yeah, no. Oh, I didn't even finish my row. Way to go, team. I'm going to show you something. I didn't finish my row. Look at how close I was, though. I was getting there. Getting her done. Okay, where's my Where's my thingy? This is the best put together podcast you have ever seen. Okay, so there's my thingy. You can see. So that is how far it's gotten in the last week. Where are you? I just saw you. You ran away. There we go. So that's how far I've gotten in the last week, which isn't a lot, but hey, I felt like I needed stuff to show you. This, of course, is the Garter Goodness in all Cyborg's Craft Room in different colors and different bases in the For Megan Knit Along, celebrating the life of Cyborg Craft Room, who was the dyer behind, or Megan, who was the dyer behind Cyborg Craft Room. Blech. This is how much I have left of the ball. It calls for 4 skeins. I've got the 4th here. I'll ball it if I need to. Although I'm starting to wonder, because these rows are ridiculous. Like, seriously, ridic. But it will be huge, it will be massive, and I can wear it like a blanket in the house. And I kind of want that, so it's getting where I need it to be. I worked on it a bit when I went out for coffee last Thursday. Oh, it's been a while. But I need to get back to it. I really do. Having said that, I spent a lot of time cajoling the cat whose fur is now in my mouth to leave the blanket so that I could work on it, and I finished the blanket, which made me feel really good. The other thing that happened, no, didn't bring the pattern in here, but I did bring it up on my iPad, because at least I can remember one thing. As I showed you last week, I was thinking of casting on The Beacon Hill by Jane Richmond. It's in the book Cascadia, and you can buy it as a single pattern or as part of the book. The book is actually really good. Go away, all these interruptions keep popping up. So yeah, apparently I ate the crazy pie and was like, yes, I want to start that right now. Because I didn't want to work on my fingering weight cardigan, but it's the Yarnivore sweater cardigan knit along, the SKAL, which is the hashtag Yarnivore SKAL. So if you're doing Nane Suimo National Knit Sweater November, National November Knit a Sweater, you know, there's NaNoWriMo, which is National November Writers Month, where you write a book in November. So people are doing Nane Suimo, which is knit a sweater in November. So if you are participating in that, you can of course double up and participate in the Yarnivore sweater along, is where I'm getting at with all of this nanos. However, I could not resist the siren call of casting on the Beacon Hill. So I did. And I am in the, it's a top down. I am in the shaping portion. I have not separated out the sleeves. I will bring it nice and close for you. It's reading a lot browner than it is. It's actually a very dark red. But I love the stitch pattern. I love the definition it's giving. I am using this. Whee! Why does it look so brown? There really is no way to get the red under. It's a brownie red. Like a good Merlot. It's Elizabeth Lavold's favorite wool, 100% Peruvian wool. It is not superwash. It's the Oxblood colorway. And how old is this? Okay, my friends from back in Minnesota. I'll cover up the price tag here. But see where that came from? Knitter's palette. I kind of don't want to use it because then it won't exist anymore, but at the same time I do want to use it. I did buy a bunch of it, but like during the closing. Sweater quantity in my size at closing prices, you couldn't go wrong with it really. But I am really enjoying this knit. I do find that because it is 100% wool, and I'm not sure if other people have this problem, or if it's just me. For some reason, if it's not superwash, like this is not superwash, it's a little more rustic. It's not like I couldn't wear it like on my forehead, but I can wear it on my body, no problem. But what I find with non-superwash wools, and because I work with mostly, I don't think I have any non-superwash that I dye for people. I should probably fix that because I like non-superwash wools. Anywho, they dry out my hands more. So I do find I'm moisturizing a lot more with the non-superwash because it is trying to suck all the moisture out of my hands. Love the pattern so far. Love the wool. I don't even mind the fact that it's got cat hair on it already. I'm getting to a point where I get to divide for the sleeves soonish, I hope. I don't know. You do the collar last, and I'm kind of confused because I've got everything on this tiny little needle, which is my own fault. I really should have a needle that, no. I need a 60-inch cable to go around me comfortably, and that would just make me sad. So I guess it is what it is. But I am getting further down. So, see, I don't know where. I'll just split it up here and pretend I'm somewhere. This is a lot of knitting, however. Don't get me wrong, this is a lot of knitting. Now, I know, side note, I know that the Building Blocks West Knits 2016 Mystery Knit Along, the final clue was released. I've seen a couple of the finished ones. I actually like the finished project, so I'm going to keep trucking on that. I still haven't finished clue 1. I think I have like 2 repeats left. Like, I don't get it. And I believe it was Jan or Jane who gave me some great tips on various things you can do, like chrome and whatnot, so I can do and watch multiple things at the same time. I just don't know if I'm that savvy. I'm going to try a few other things. I may just end up sucking it up and printing a few things out. Like, I printed out the Beacon Hill pattern mostly because the time it took for my iPad to load up Cascadia sucked. So I just was like, I'll just print off the one pattern, and then I won't have to keep flipping through pages and blah blah blah. Anywho, it's in my Halloween bag from Amy Beth. I think this is 2 Halloweens ago now, but I still love it, and it's got orange spider webs on the inside. It was very un-Amy Beth at the time. She seems to be going into more of these cute contemporaries, but I must say, love me my Amy Beth bags. In spite of the fact that she says they're not sweater size, they are, depending. I mean, you can go up to a 48-inch bust in most of her not the really small wedges, but the small wedges. You know, because there's the extra small, I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. I should just shut up. And yes, I drink it like I'm drinking tea with my pinky finger stuck out. I don't know if I've ever told you guys about these. I know it looks like I did something expensive, but let me tell you, I'm not that expensive. You can get these, like, they're the peel, and then you pull and wrap them, and you like rub them into place. I think they're supposed to be like rip-off Jamberries, but they're by Sally Hansen, and you can get different prints. So I figured, why not? Why not? It was there, and I figured I'd do it. Now, I did finish a book. That's all the knitting content I have for you. So now I'm going to talk about the book I read, and then I'm going to give you the Bebop update. If that is not interesting to you, thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next week. For everybody else, let's continue onward. I finished reading Prophet's Prey by Sam Bauer with a preface by John Krakauer. Krakauer? Sure. Now, John Krakauer wrote Under the Banner of Heaven, as well as a couple other things that have been fairly well known. Into the Thin Air, I think. Into Thin Air? I think I have that one. There's one about climbing Everest. There's one about being in the woods. Under the Banner of Heaven is about the FLDS and some really rank killings that happened. This is, of course, about primarily about Warren Jeffs and the FLDS, Fundamentalist Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Not actual Mormons. Mormons are very different. The FLDS is the fundamentalist version that practices polygamy. Having said that, very readable book. 7 years this guy researched stuff. 7 years of investigation into the whole insanity. I don't think I could be that strong. This guy is a very strong guy. He's also a bail bondsman, so I guess he's not afraid of anything, because I would be afraid of some of the situations he describes in here, where they went after him. Like, he had open heart surgery, and he had to be checked in under a different name, because he thought they would come and get him. He is also, interestingly enough, Sam Brower. He is a regular Mormon, a practicing regular Mormon, not FLDS Mormon. So, he has some interesting takes. Highly recommended if you're into that whole thing. Way better than Stolen Innocence. I have one more book about FLDS, etc., called The Witness Were Red, but I think I'm going to take a break because I need a break. It's like I can't read books about the same serial killer in a row. I can't read books about the same crime in a row, and this is a crime, so I can't read it back to back to back, because then it just seems like I'm reading the same thing over and over again, and I want to be able to take in new information. It's just something I learned when I was in university and doing all kinds of research. It's like you have to break it up, or else it all seems the same, and then you're just rehashing stuff. So that was finished. I'm probably going... I have another arc to read about the Fairy Queen in literature. That one's going to take me a little while. I think I'm going to divide it into chunks because it's really academic. I also picked up, there's a book called The Witches, Salem, 1692, I think. Witches is the main title. And it just got printed in paperback, and I picked one up a couple weeks ago. So I'm interested, well, a week or two, a week and a half, 2 weeks. I don't know. I was slumming it in the bookstore because I was sad, and I saw that it finally came out in paperback because I wanted to read it since I saw it on Tracy P., who's a floss tuber. I saw it on her channel about books and such, and I really wanted to pick it up because it's based on historical writings, but it's got fiction. So, paperback copy, saw it, bought it, yeah. However, I have no idea what I'm going to be reading next. I think I might need to get some fluff books just to throw in the middle because I'm overwhelmed with the Bebop situation. So into the Bebop situation, for those of you who wish to know. He did go to the vet, and when I took him to the vet, his medication was upped and they were going to put him on another medication. Okay, so we came home, couldn't get a hold of the other medication, couldn't get a hold of it. It doesn't exist in, like, the dosage is abnormal in that humans no longer take a dose that low. So, like, humans take an upper dose, and there's no easy way to break up the pill, so it would have to be specially formulated at a specialty pharmacy, which isn't a big deal because that's where Petrie goes, but then it has to be transferred over. Anyway, in the midst of getting all of this done so that he could get this pill, that night he started having really bad breathing problems. Like, previously he had had a cough. It was a very pronounced cough, almost like he would, like, really cough himself stupid. And if you've ever known an asthmatic, it sounded like an asthmatic attack preceding a cough. Like, it was bad. And then he could not breathe. He was gasping, and I was worried about that, so I took him to the emergency vet, which sucks because, you know, emergency vet. No one likes to go to the emergency vet, and the last time we were there we got fleas, but he's on Comfortis now, so we're not getting fleas. It's all good. But, so I got him there. They said he was stable, but he was clearly having a labor time breathing. This is not good. So they kept him overnight, put him on oxygen, and they really upped his diuretic because they could hear that there was something wrong. They figured there was water in and around his heart or on his lungs or something. And that was the previous thought by the other vet, but he didn't take any x-rays because he was worried about Bebop. Subsequently, when he's out of it and they're doing all these drugs and stuff to him, they had no problem getting the radiography. So he did, when they took him into observation, he did have water around his heart. So they upped the diuretics significantly comparative to what he was on before. They added another heart medication, and at that point in time they were giving him oxygen overnight to draw out the water with the diuretics and to keep him from having trouble breathing with the labored breathing. So I picked him up in the morning and he was doing much better. He is no longer stoned, but he was stoned for the longest time. Like, he was very, very out of it, and it took a couple days for him to really want to eat, but now he's eating and he is trying to be normal. He is almost back to normal. I had to take him into the vet today. We were in the vet earlier because he needed more of the pills they upped him on and more of the pills the new pills that they put him on. Subsequently, they're like, well, we should get an ultrasound, we should get this and that, and it's like, I don't have the money right now. I don't. I have 3 geriatric pets. This is my limit. This is as far as I can go. I can't afford a $600. Well, probably, I'm sure I could ask my mom, but the other thing is, he shouldn't be sedated at this point anymore, enough to do this. So we're 6 of one, half dozen of another. We're hoping his father gets home. His father, you know what I mean. We're hoping that hubby gets home in time for them to have some time together, because I really don't think he's going to make the deployment. The length of it, I don't. So we are officially on borrowed time. He is in cardiac failure, and this is what we do, which is kind of depressing, but he's also 15 years old, and he's had a heart murmur since he was born. He has made leaps and strides in his lifetime, and we're just going to keep him happy and healthy until his time comes. But if you were wondering what happened with him, that is the saga of Bebop, who is currently sleeping at my feet, because he doesn't go far. I hate to end on a sad note, but that is exactly what I have to say currently. I'm hoping I will have more knitting to show you next week. Honestly, it's like I finished a big project in terms of cross stitch, which is why there's less knitting content. That, and I had Boo, and when you spend a lot of time worrying about a dog, you don't really do any crafting. So I apologize, but that's what I can do for you. I guess I will see everybody next week. I hope you had a great Halloween. Mine was very subdued. And I hope you have a great November.